do is put this recording on Facebook and get it started that way. So anyway, let's start today. We're talking about, this is the Business Academy, and we are starting our second class today. Remember, our Business Academy will be held the second Tuesday of every month at 7 o'clock, and goes to maybe 7:30, but basically a half an hour or a little bit shorter than that. Today in session 2, we're going to be talking about identifying the biggest challenges in your company right now. I would love for you to have, and I think it would be beneficial if you had your something to take notes with, whether it's your computer, laptop, iPad, whatever you use. I think it'd be really important, because I'm going to ask you some questions coming forward that would be good for you to consider as we move forward. So I think that would be really good. So the first thing I want to say is, in this Business Academy, we're going to take our time. We're going to just be line upon line kind of process. It's going to be a teaching kind of a class where we're just going to kind of walk through the real meat of business. These are not going to be just platitudes or memes. We're going to dive into the deep parts of business and try to help you grow in your knowledge as an owner and organizational leader, so that you can lead better, that you can be a better owner and find more productivity. And the goal of that productivity is not only to enhance our own lives, but to enhance our community. And so one of the ways that we can change our communities is by growing healthy businesses. And healthy businesses go to the arts, they donate to civic organizations. As business rises and improves, creative things happen, more tax money happens, and it's just a really good environment for cities, communities. They're much healthier where the businesses are healthier. And that is a keynote of my life, is to help small businesses so that we can enhance our community. The first thing I want to talk about in this, the introduction, is simply this: business is not a mystery. It's just not a mystery. It's not mystical. There is no one thing that's going to change your world, or something that's going to make a huge difference. But business operates out of universal law. There are universal laws like gravity that function in business. And if these laws can be taught, and these laws can be known by you, and if you learn them, and if you understand their application, it will do wonders in helping you advance and be more productive and more profitable in your business. Now, the methods that we employ or implement to implement these laws, that can be different. And that changes. For instance, marketing, the way marketing changes, it changes with the culture, it changes with the economics, it changes with so many things, wars and all of that. That's just one small way. Supply and demand, e-commerce, but it all comes back to these laws that are universal. But the methods may change slightly based upon economics, based upon culture, based upon health. We just went through the pandemic. No one saw that coming, but the methods change. We had to change methods. We had to adapt our methods, but we weren't changing the fundamentals of these laws of business. And that's what I want you to know. Now, last month in the first session, I talked about predictable success. And that was an understanding of how life cycles of business work. There are 7 life cycles of business. And understanding the principles in each one of those life cycles gives you a tremendous advantage if you know what those are. Those things will never change. They are predictable, right? And so that's what I'm talking about. I want to talk about and get into these universal laws of business that once you know them, they will be very, very beneficial to you. So tonight we're going to talk about the very first step of business, one of these laws. And we call it the 4 challenges. And we're going to show that in just a minute, these 4 challenges. But why do I need to know that? And I'm going to share my screen now and show you. We're going to just go into a little bit of the screen share here. And you say, well, why do I need to know what these 4 challenges are? And the reason you need to know that is right here, because this is like many business owners right here. There is so much to do that I don't know what to do. I don't know where to begin. And every podcast I listen to tells me to do something else. And every book I read tells me to do something else. And every person I ask that's in my industry that are friends, we grab a coffee or a beer, they tell me to do something else. And so I become so confused that I really don't know what to do. So how do you decide what to focus on? And that's what we want to talk about today. And that's why these 4 challenges and understanding these laws of business will be very beneficial to you. They will help you, and that's even this class title, is identifying the biggest challenges in your company right now. And so we're going to do that today as we walk through this process. So the first thing that we need to look at and to understand is this graph that we call the 4 challenges. And let's talk about that. You'll notice that there are 4 things, and let's talk about them. The creating an attractive business concept, and that's the gold. Establishing a strong organization, that's red. Building lasting customer relationships are green, and maintaining profitable operations are blue. Now, as we go through these classes and over the next few weeks, every time we talk about the business concept, it will be the gold, they will correlate. So here's the thing we need to understand about this law of these 4 challenges, that these 4 things show up in every business. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. It doesn't matter what size your business is. It doesn't matter what country or what geographical location your business is in. None of those things matter. People always ask me, how am I able to consult in all of these different industries? And this is part of the reason. The reason is I don't need to know the industry, because these 4 things are true of every business, no matter size or, as I said, or income or industry. And every business needs to create an attractive business concept. And so, I run into businesses all the time that no one really understands what they do. No one understands how they do it. Nobody understands what they're selling, what their product is, what their mission is, what they're about. And in our culture today, it's very important for people to understand what your business is about. You need to figure that out. So creating a business concept that's attractive is absolutely vital to the success of your business. And if you have a great business concept, people know what you're about, they know what you stand for, they know what you do, then you know where your customer is and those kind of things, but you don't have a strong organization, then that's going to hurt your business. So establishing then a strong organization is absolutely vital to a strong business. And then we move up to the building lasting customer relationships. If you don't have lasting customers, if you don't have customers that routinely buy from you, or attracting new customers to your business, you can't have a sustainable business. You must be able to develop this profitable and sustainable market. And to do that, you need to build lasting customer relationships. And as I said, every business, no matter the size of it or the industry, everyone needs to do that. And then finally, if you're able to create a business concept and you're able to establish a strong organization and you're able to build lasting customer relationships, you better be able to maintain profitable, and notice that word profitable, operations. You have to be able to run profitable operations. So you're shipping, let's say you have these customers that come in and you have to be able to take care of them and have systems and processes and finances and robust money coming in and cash flow. You have to be able to have that to have a successful business. And so these are the 4 challenges that are laws of business. You need to create the attractive business concept, establish a strong organization, build lasting customer relationships, and maintain profitable operations. Now, I have a few questions to ask you, and you might want to write these down. So let's talk about these questions, or let me ask you these questions and you answer them. And these will give you food for thought as we move forward. So within which of these 4 areas do you think you have the biggest challenges at the moment? Which one of these 4 areas do you have the greatest challenges right now? The second question is, have you been spending more time in one of these areas than in another? As you work on your business, what area are you spending a lot of time? The next question would be, in which one of these areas do you feel like your business is doing really well? Another important question is there one of these areas that is stopping you from moving forward in another one of the areas? I'd like to do this, but I have to get this right first. So how would you answer that question? Okay. And now as you think about this and these questions that I just asked you, the next thing you would have to do is make some decisions. And I call those the agenda decisions. And so here would be the questions. Which area of the business should you be focusing on right now? Not in 6 months, but right now. Which area of these businesses should you focus on right now? The second question I would ask you about these decisions is, do you need new skills in your company, either by training or by hiring new people in one of these areas? Do you need new skills in the company, either by training current employees or by hiring new people? Can you identify that? And so these are important questions now for you to consider after we're done and to begin to move forward in the business. So these are really, really important questions for you to consider. Now let's look at the next thing. What we're going to do is move forward, and we're going to now take these 4 concepts, these 4 challenges, and we're going to break them down into 20 focus areas. So now all we're doing is taking your business, the business concept, the organization, customer relations, and operations. Remember, I said they're in every business. So now all we're doing is breaking those 4 up into 5 segments each. And we have now a 360-degree perspective to find the right focus for our business. And what we want to do now is just kind of go through these very briefly so they can help you identify some of these. So this is the business concept. Remember, I told you the business concept is always going to be gold. So let's talk about the 5 in the business concept. Is your business concept attractive? All right. So the business idea would be your mission. What is your mission? What is your vision? Why did you start the business? Simon Sinek would call this your why. Why did you start the business? Was it to make a lot of money? Was it to help people? Was it to what? Just an creative outlet? What is the business idea? And inside of this business idea is mission, vision, values. What's my business about? What do we stand for? That's really important right now. So have you been able to clearly identify your business idea? Your product portfolio. I see this weakness constantly in businesses where they've never developed their product portfolio. How do you attract people to your business through your products? Do you offer a low cost option? Do you offer a high cost option? Do you have a medium option? Have you laid out clearly? Do you have a subscription or something like that, which we'll talk about in just a second? But your products, do people clearly identify what your products are? And do your products lead to further buying and purchasing from customers? The revenue model, is it a subscription model? Do you get paid hourly? Do you get paid by the job? What is your revenue model? How is that working for you? How do you sell? Let's say you're a salon, and I was in a place the other day getting my hair cut, and they offered no beauty products. And I was like, why don't you have any beauty products on the line? That is extra revenue. So what are the revenue models? Thinking through those things. The next one would be customer portfolio. So who is your customer? Everybody's my customer. If you just said that, you're wrong. Everybody's not your customer. And you have to get really clear about who your customer is. And the only way you can do that is kind of know what your business is about. My business is about this. We want to reach this group of people. We want to serve these kind of folks. Knowing that clearly helps you to identify your customer portfolio. If you're having a lot of trouble with customers and those kind of things, they tell you your price is too high, you have the wrong customers, right? So you need to get that cleaned up, and we can walk through that. And then finally in this section is market position. So where do you want to play? Do you want to be the least expensive, where you have to sell a lot of product? Do you want to be a medium priced product or service, and you don't have to sell quite as many? Or do you want to be a real high-end elite, where you charge a lot of money for your product, you don't need to sell a lot? Where do you want to play in the market on that? Do you know that? Because if you want to be an expensive product and you're talking to people who don't want to pay a lot of money, you're going to constantly have frustration. And you need to align that market position. All right, so let's move on a little quicker. Then organization involves ownership and board. If you're a nonprofit, you have a board, or if you're a corporation. Employees, do you have onboarding process? What are you offering your employees? How are you doing the hours? Do you have a whole onboarding process, handbooks and systems? And do you have all of that in place? What kind of partnerships do you have? In your business, are you working with different partners? Your business processes. This is so important in alignment. Saving money is to have business processes through your business. So if you get a customer's email, what do you do with it next? Where do you put it? What do you do with it? These are ideas of business processes. And then of course your legal issues. I cannot talk about this enough. You need to make sure that you have the right certifications. You need the right license. You need all of these things, and those are all legal issues that we'll talk about later. Moving up to the customer relations, this would involve networking. How are you doing with that? How are you marketing your business? Are you doing it through trade magazines? Are you doing it through conventions now that things are kind of opening up? Are you doing it on social media? How are you doing that? What's the best way for you to do that? Sales and services. Does your sales team know the product? Do they have brochures? Do they have materials that they can take to the clients? What's that all about? Are you doing virtual sales and in-person sales? All of those kinds of things. Communications and PR, branding. What's the brand? And all of that's part of building customer relationships. And then the operation. So we have here your financials. Are you financially stable? Do you have funding? If you're a nonprofit, where are you going to get funding? Production and deliveries. If we've talked about that before, if you have good customer relations, but you have poor deliveries, you're not going to have customer relations for long, because people are going to be mad because you're not delivering on time, or you're delivering the wrong product, or those kind of things. The IT is really important. How do we maintain confidence, and how do we maintain security for our customers' information, those kind of things. And then, of course, facilities. And so that gives you a roundabout way of this 360-degree, these little segments. And so we started off with these 4 challenges, which were the business concept, the organization, customer relations, and operations. Next, we've broken those down into all of these segments. And here's the thing that's really important for you to understand. These 20 segments are the laws of business that I was talking about earlier. These things do not change. They are 20 things that are focus areas, no matter what the size of the business, no matter what industry the business is in, no matter the location of the business. These 20 things are areas that you as a business owner and as a business team need to be good at and need to get better at. And the goal today is for you to figure out which one of these areas you work on first, because obviously you're running a business, you have a life, and you can't do everything at once. But the goal is to not be like the woman in the first slide where she was so frustrated, but it's to identify some areas that you could work on first. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to just, I'm going to ask you a few questions. So first of all, let's get to the question, where can you best use your resources, the resources you have right now? Where can you best use your resources to drive your business forward in the coming weeks or in the coming months? Now, all of us have limited resources. We can't just do whatever we want. Most of us can't. And so we need to align and focus these resources. And so the question is, where can you best use the resources to drive business, to get customers, to get money, get profitability? How do you do that? How do you drive the business forward in the next few weeks or in the next few months? And write that down. Have you neglected any of these areas that we've talked about tonight? Have you been neglecting any of those areas right now? It's like the garden, right? In the spring, we plant the garden, and now we're like, as it gets 100 degrees outside, we're like, heck, leave that go. We're not weeding that today, right? So which one of these have you have been neglecting? Do any of these areas, these 20 focus areas, do any of them need to be developed before other ones can be developed? Okay. Now here's some decisions you're going to have to make. All right. And these are the decisions I want you to think about. What decisions we're going to make. All right. So the first question is, which of these 4 focus areas will you work on first? And I've got a neat little slide here that I'll and here we've identified 4 areas, 5 areas, but I want you to just focus on what 4 areas do you need to focus on first. What resources, like employees, let's say, what individual and team ambitions should you have written within these key focus areas? What's the goal in these 4 areas? If let's say you want to do better at marketing, well, what would be the goal to accomplish in marketing? What would be your specific ambition or your specific thing you would want to accomplish in that area? And number 3, and this is really probably the key question of the night, what actions should you take right now to move forward in the selected area? So the first question I ask you is, which one of the 4 will you work on first? All right, so you pick one, whatever it is. The next one is, what actions should you take right now to move forward in that section, in that area? It might be making a phone call, it might be hiring somebody, it might be moving somebody from one department to another, it may be changing supplier, it may be hiring a marketer, it may be, there's all kind of things. But you should then begin to list, after you've identified which one you want to work on first. The question is, now, what are some really simple steps that I could take right now to get that thing cleaned up and to get moving forward? Because the important part of success is that we identify the problem, we prioritize the problem, then we act on the problem. And so I would add even one question. Another question would be, now that you know what action steps you should take, or as you think about it, what action steps you should take, the next question would be, who should handle this? Who should be? In a lot of cases, it will be you. Or you might have a manager, or you might have 50 employees, or you might have 500 employees, but who should be handling that now? So as you begin to consider these questions, as you begin to consider now these 4 challenges, and then breaking them down into sections and identifying these universal to every business, these focus areas, identifying them, and then asking yourself, or prioritizing them, and then asking yourself, what do I need to do right now to get started? And I want to encourage you to do that. I want to encourage you to get started on doing those things. If you need some help, I offer services that are able to walk you through this process in a little more detail. You could just contact me, Rick at slarkconsultinggroup.com, on the Facebook page, wherever, and you could contact me, and I could show you how to do this in a little bit more detail. So thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. The next class will be August, the 2nd Tuesday in August. And what we're going to begin to do is break down these 20 sections and work through them a little bit more. So thank you again for joining. I'm really glad you did. Reach out if you need anything, and have a good evening. Thanks again.